Hi everyone, this is Elizabeth with 217 Creations, and I'm here today to share with you a fun new technique that I came up with on how to make a 3D paper pine cone. I was inspired to try and create this for the 2011 Tim Holtz 12 Tags of Christmas, and this is day one, my kind of faking of it. I used my Cricut to do the cuts and my Cuttlebug for the embossing, and the one thing that he did was he used his die, his tattered pine cone die, to create a 3D pine cone. But unfortunately for me, I do not have a die cutting machine that will cut that die because it's one of the bigs, and my Cuttlebug will not cut those. So I had to get creative and come up with my own way, and it's pretty easy, and it could be done with several different Cricut cartridges. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is you are going to need toothpick. So round, flat, doesn't matter. I use round ones. I think they're easier to roll on my fingers. But you're going to need a toothpick. And then you're going to need a pear shape. Now I use the pear from Gypsy Font. It has a pear that's all blacked out and just has like a tiny little stem. And so that's the one that I chose to use. If you have a Gypsy, you have this cartridge. If you do not have a Gypsy, there are several other cartridges that have pear shapes. You just have to thumb through your books. I know that Joys of the Season has one too. So anyways, basically you need your pear shape in a 3/4 inch and in a 1 inch approximately, give or take a little bit. So that's what we need first. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to shape them. And I'm going to show you how I shaped mine to make them easy. This is my paper shaping kit from McGill. And I usually use the mat if I'm doing any kind of cupping. But this is really easy to do. You're basically going to take the pear shape, and which is the stem is actually, for the purpose of making this pine cone, going to be the bottom. And so you're going to put it in your tweezers, and it's easier if you have the negative hold tweezers where you have to press them to open them. So we're going to take that, and you're going to fold it in half and give it a good crease. Then you're going to take the edge, and you're going to give it a little roll. And then the same thing on this side. Edge and a little roll. And what you kind of end up with is this kind of shape. And if you were to take apart a pine cone, this is approximately what it looks like. So that's what makes this so easy, is that it's a natural shape. It's really, really simple once we get started. So I use hot glue. It's faster and I'm really comfortable with it. If you are scared of hot glue, don't be. There are just a few things with this pine cone when it comes to using hot glue. One is you do not need a lot of glue on each of the pear shapes. It's just going to be a tiny little bit. So I'm going to kind of zoom in just a little bit, so bear with me so you can kind of see as I build. So you're going to start with your toothpick, and you're going to put a little bit of hot glue on the end. Then you're going to take one of your small pear shapes and kind of roll the paper onto that toothpick. So it kind of cups it and makes a tube. Okay, can you see that? It's really hard, but that's basically what you're looking for. Okay, from here it's just really easy. You're going to take each of your small ones, and you're going to do another row that's going to build 3, and then we're going to build 5, and then we're going to go on to the large ones. So as you notice, maybe you can or maybe you can't in the video, I have several different shades of brown. For me, when I'm making flowers and leaves and in this case pine cones, I like to use varying shades of colors because that's how nature is. Nature isn't all one color. So for me, I ended up cutting several sheets, some with like a dark chocolate brown, like a truffle, and then like a medium toned brown, and then kind of like this grayish brown. And I think it really adds a lot of dimension. So don't be afraid to experiment with different shades of cardstock. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these, and see, I have all mine pre-shaped. Just sit down in front of the TV and sit there and bend and fold cardstock. And then I always make extras and then toss them in a Ziploc baggie. And then the next time I need to make one, I can just pull out the pieces I need. And I will have everything I need to make my pine cone. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it. So that's kind of one of my other little time savers. Okay. So here we go. Give that a second to dry so we don't fiddle with it too much while it's wet. Okay. This side's just a little wet still, so give it just a minute to cool off. Okay. So now you can kind of do a little shape. And so we've got 3. Okay, I'm going to jump just a little bit because you saw me do how I did the 3. Your next row is going to have 5, and then you're going to end up with something like this. Okay? The trick when you're building this, if you look down my toothpick, is the tip of my toothpick is like right here, and I'm already down to here. So you're building downward as you build this. So once you've done the 3 and then the 5 on the small ones, you're going to go into your larger pinecone shapes. I want this brown. There we go. And just a little strip. And then kind of scoot it down. The nice thing about working with hot glue is it's quick, but it's still like somewhat forgiving. So even if you need a minute to kind of slide it into place, you have a few seconds there to move it around. See how I'm working that down? And it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical because, well, not to get into details, but nothing in nature is perfectly symmetrical. So, you know, sometimes it's just about embracing that imperfection and knowing that that's just how life is. It's never perfect. So your craft doesn't always have to be perfect either. And I like them to look different, so. Okay. You can kind of starting to see it build outward. And this is the time consuming part, is just sitting here and building and shaping. But you can see I'm moving down the toothpick. See? Now, at a certain point, your toothpick may come out, and that's okay. My one that I made here, I didn't have a toothpick slide out on it, but the other practice ones I had the toothpick slide out. Basically, all the toothpick is doing for you is helping you get this center built. So if it slides out, there's no worries. If you need to put it back in for the sake of having a little extra room down here, so you can slide it right back on. So no big deal. Now as I get down to these bottom ones, I'm not going to curl them up as much. I'm going to start kind of letting them come down a little bit more. I need a large one. There we go. And on these pear shapes, you'll need about 10 small ones and about 10 to 15 large ones. It just kind of depends. Each one's been a little different for me. Sorry, I moved out of the camera there. You'll just have to play with it and see kind of which way you like it. There we go. So I'm going to make this one a little smaller than I made my other one, just so that for the sake of time on the video, because I don't want you to have to sit forever. But you can see how it starts to build outward. So from here, if your toothpick doesn't slide off or you don't want it to slide off, you'll just need to trim it. So let me grab my scissors. And I just use my utility ones, so I don't use my nice paper scissors to cut. And just trim it. Okay, and so from here, just give it a little shape and be gentle, because you know hot glue is strong, but you can break it apart. Now in order to get it to lay flat, hold on, let me get my pieces the way I want them. There we go. In order for me to get it to lay flat on here, I went ahead and flattened up the back side, just like this. And then from there, you can just hot glue it onto your project. Now, to get this speckled look that I did here, I used 2 products. Let me grab those stickles out. There it is. Okay, I used Distress Stickles in Picket Fence, and I used Snow Cap, there we go, Paint Dauber. Okay, and so all I did was I took my paint dauber, and the paint daubers, you kind of have to press them a little bit to get them going. I really need a new sponge top on this one, but if I give it a few presses, I'll get it going again. Okay, so once you have your dauber wet, I just took it and then dabbed. You could also use liquid applique if you like to have that 3-dimensional look of snow. Okay, and then all I did was I took stickles, and these are the stress stickles, and they're a little bit chunkier than the traditional ones, but they're perfect for creating, like, you know, kind of like that iced look. And I just kind of randomly put them on there. And there you go. Pretty easy. Not too time consuming, but this one's a little smaller than my other one. It just depends on how you want it to look, if you want it to be really large or if you don't want it to be large. So I hope this helps you out. I hope that you're inspired to try using kind of what you have already to kind of create some of these really cool effects. I really, really love this tag. If you want more details or a photo tutorial on how to make the 3D pine cone, you can visit my website at 217creations.com. That's 217creations.com, and there you will see the photo tutorial as well as the tags that I've been working on. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a creative day, and thank you so much for watching and for commenting and subscribing. Thanks. Bye-bye.